No, we didn't.
No. We definitely did not.
So it looks like Reflex going straight from the get-go, more of a retake B hold here. We've seen Shaney use a smoke from the get-go. Actually, he didn't actually use smoke. He bought a P250 for Smooya, actually, all things considered, which we don't see that very often. Normally, Luz is the guy who gets given a P250. He loves it.
Joe does like a P250 on the pistol round. We've seen that actually coming out quite a lot. Ooh, I remember he actually asked you about it personally, didn't he?
Did. And I ended up trying to find some information about it. And he was like, thanks. You proved my point. Okay. But the B site, though, we said it was going to be a retake. It looks like that'll be the case. So it will be a 5v5 retake. They're boosting Heaven, though. Ooh. This could be a huge play later on in the round.
It is the K-Man as well that's going to be put into that position, and we know how poised he can actually be in these opening pistol rounds. Luzza, a tasty way to open it up as JCMX goes down, but Emmy is actually hitting them relatively hard here. Ben, a double kill found. Whisk continues it, and it's just left on Smooya and Shaney. The FPL's definitely been paying off for the S brothers as it all comes down to Whisk. Trapped now on the 1v2, sprints across the site, and he is going to be slapped down by Shaney.
I'm trying to think back to, there was a previous Prem Finals where Shaney did have an incredible, first 7 rounds, I think it was, against the old lineup of United Estonia.
Oh, to be fair,
20 kills.
That literally was the cash game, 2015, that me and Kyanite casted. Shaney had an unreal first half. CT side, he was clutching countless rounds, retakes on B side with an AWP. I remember Kyanite was losing his mind. Full Kermit.
Full Kermit.
Full Kermit.
But Reflex going for actually basically a full eco here. Like you've got the 1 flash P250. It's quite rare considering, we mentioned the economy change about using the desk. You're more likely to feel obliged to just, force into rounds now.
Yeah.
Considering the loss bonus just builds and builds and builds. You can't be reset the same way you used to. But nevertheless, Smooya getting those kills in connector, which we'll probably see quite a bit of this game.
Yeah. Is definitely where it gravitates towards and tends to be quite a nuisance. You could see how standardized it was, obviously just the brush strokes of clearing the angles. There was potential. They could have actually overwhelmed him, get him down to 4 HP, but Pensioners seem like they will have a flawless round here, Ben.
Should be the case. Obviously, JChem with that Mach 10 trying to hunt towards everything. Surreal right behind him. Question is, will they be able to scout the correct area? I feel like it might come down to the last few seconds. Although Surreal's got the contact, gets the kill. Just Emmy alive now. As soon as he hears those SMGs, I feel like he should be trying to force the AK to take a chance, but he actually wins out the fight, which is unusual.
Emmy does seem confident.
Yeah, he started the game quite strong. A lot of players, if you start a pistol round, land final, everything, 2 kills, you're like, here we go.
It really is. It's the boaster effect, as it's known, right? You get in there early, you get that confidence. If you're feeling warm, you just start giving it.
Look how many orgs we've got.
That is ridiculous.
Straight 5 AU.
5 org, instant buy. Here we go, Ben. We're on for a game here. I mean, we know all too well what the orgs can do in the hand of the ex-Neds boys.
Yeah. It's a very confident decision because obviously you're going to have no utility for the most part. They've already used Molotov, smoke. You've got 2 more smokes available as well. But surely, that'll get recognized by Pension. This is going to be a Byron, but the utility will be very low. And I love this angle. This is, I believe people refer to it as Cold Zera because he used it a few times at tournaments. But it's such a crazy off angle. But it looks like a B play will be coming through at Monster. JChem leading the charge with his Mach 10. Not an ideal Molotov.
No, that is quite awkward. There's a little bit of chaos on the site as well. The smoke going to go down to extinguish it. Allows them to try and push up. The Orc should be so effective at holding an angle, but JChem, he's ripped the head off instantly with a Mach 10. This is not how the Orcs are supposed to work, Ben. Kata responding thick and fast, but is only 1. Downs JChem, but that was it. Considering the 3-man hold they had, they should have had a complete defense to that site, and JChem's finding entries with a Mach 10, Ben.
Yeah, that is one of the issues, though, when you buy that 3rd round. You probably won't have head armor. A Mach 10, I mean, that distance, he shouldn't be winning that fight regardless. No. Even the head armor not being there, you've got to be thinking the Org will land the first shot, get the second, get the kill.
Well, you've got to remember as well, every time we've seen JChem in the online season, he's playing with 7 billion ping, Ben. Now he's on LAN again.
Yeah, to be fair, he was always lagging all over the
He was lagging everywhere.
Awkward exchange at B short, resulting in a 2 for 2. Kasa actually gets 1 as well. This is looking a bit scary.
Oh, a bit of damage coming through. Kasa actually tagged down to 2 HP though. It's not fancying to go for the wide swing on the reface to do any damage. They're left in for a 3 versus 2. They have the advantage right now. Shaney just holding, expecting to see potentially a play coming through. Smooya goes for the full rotation, the lurk in effect.
Yeah, the thing is, from the CT side of things, you've just got 2 players who are low. You kind of feel pressured to make a play. So you can see Mog on the minimap, he's already going through connector, trying to get some information. He knows his teammates at B. if they were to be entry to bond with 2 players, they're probably not going to win out the fight. But Smoothie, as he said, he's made the big play. He figured they saw the bomb outside B. I can probably get up A and maybe go behind them at B. Yeah. And that does appear to be the situation. Shaney's still holding. He's actually still pulling a fake towards there as well. So ultimately, Smoothie will come from behind, but he'll actually see nobody when he goes through heaven, right? He'll see absolutely nobody there because they're all on shore.
Ooh, timing here could be everything as well, as it seems like just as this push does come down, if Shaney goes for the play straight through Monster, everyone's rotated off. They're playing for the double setup towards short, with Mog just waiting in connector. Here comes the slow push. 22 seconds on the clock. JCMX begins to peak it. If he took the firefight there, that was probably his best chance of actually getting the initial frag. Instead, plays the safe card, waits. They want to go back in together, boost over. They've made a bit of noise though. Shaney, suspect of it, Ben. Heading towards the smoke. Smoothie will get the first from the elevated angle. And it is just down to Casa and Mog, but they're going in 1 by 1. Casa with just 2 HP. It's only a CZ as well. I mean, you can try and grab something to help him out. But chances are, at this point, it should be an easy shutdown and the 4th round secured for the Pensioners.
Yeah, the worrying bit is it's only a Mach 10 around there as well. So it's not exactly like he can scavenge a worthy weapon. Ends up running into Shaney. So a smooth start for the double S's, as you mentioned, the pistol round. Both of them going quite well. 8 kills for Smoothie, 5 for Shaney. 4-0 on the score, and obviously now we're seeing that AWP come through, but actually the AWP on Emmy there.
Right. From what we saw before, if Emmy did have a spawn to go for it, he would play very aggressive towards mid. We saw him actually taking those fights, probably at least 50% of the time.
It was a very weird one thinking to the online season as well, because there was flashes of good plays.
Yeah.
Right, but it was just kind of, a lot of the time you didn't really see the impact. Not a good start to the round when Casa, I think he wanted to commit to that short pipe, but obviously the Molotov was there blocking him and they didn't end up going for it fully. Which means he just loses half his health for no reason, I suppose.
Ooh. Smia selling the idea here. The audio cues. This could actually be very annoying for Reflex. The paranoia, if they hold this hold for longer than they need to, as this full play is coming in towards B, it could come back to bite them.
Yeah, it's more of what we saw in the online season as well. When Smoothie got introduced to this lineup, he was constantly on the move, making plays. Yeah. He was dictating the entire map. And he's doing that now. He was just towards A doing a default. He's now being boosted. He spots 2 players there as well. So chances are, as you mentioned, that B play will probably come through. However, grenade-wise, there's Molotov and JCMX. They've just Molotov short as well. You got to think this will be very difficult.
Oh, timing for Casa. He'll be frustrated with that one, caught with his pants around his ankles as the aggression begins to come through. And they've opened this site up incredibly easy, Ben. Pop the top right off. And Mog and Emmy, in reality, just need to try and go for a save here.
Yeah, 3 huge kills off Surreal there. Perfectly trading for his team as well to get the initial entry. Ultimately means though that because of that worry, you hear a player fast towards highways, done a lot of set grenades. You kind of worry, is there more perhaps? So after about 25 seconds, you've got to be thinking, we need to get some information here. Because you're already worrying if there's more people there, you're worrying if there's a full default there. But instead, ultimately nothing is done. They go towards B, they get the entries that are required. With the setup in mind, I feel like they should have done better. Yeah. Frankly, there was the one player on the side monster near the actual slope, and then there was a player on the ramp next to the pillar, and then there was a player at pillar as well. Like that's a very good setup to be able to. There's too many people to look at, frankly, right?
Well, that's kind of the issue right now. Is obviously if that is going to be potentially reoccurring for them, and Pensioners are just able to open up that B bomb site so easily, effortless from Smoothie as well on the clear, finding Emmy, so you can save that AWP. But it's not going to work out that well for him because you've now armed Smoothie with the AWP as well. Rather than him playing that default role and just being able to clear those angles, going for the slow sort of nuisance play up towards the A site early, we could see a little bit of aggression coming out because we know that style that he likes to bring, Ben.
Yeah, it's the confidence really, isn't it? It's like relentless. However, we'll be seeing a pause come through. Quite an early one. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was from Reflex though, in all fairness. I really wouldn't be surprised just because on the basis of things, you've got 2 Byrons in mind. The first one, a bit of a weak B hold. The second one, you probably should have been doing something proactive on A, and also you should have been doing better on B as well, right? It was a double issue right there. But ultimately, it's quite early on. I wouldn't be surprised. Shiki's input, very valuable to a team such as Reflex. Obviously, the experience side of things, they could really do having someone like that. See if anything changes though. It's just going to be a pistol armor by Mog. Obviously still has that AUG. Not really sure what he can do with that in this situation. Does look like he's going towards B though.
It's actually one of the first times we've seen Premiership get a bit more aggressive towards the A site as well, with the instant long take coming through. Lazza going for the lurk. They walk into him. The JCMX very easily biting down on him there with a CZ. It's a quick extermination. But here comes the fight for the site. Flashbang's going to go over from JKM. Can Jake the Rock Johnson start laying out some filthy blows, Ben?
He'll be looking to do so, that's for sure. All the grenades coming through Whisk, not being affected by these Molotovs though. Free kill, and where's the trade? There's quite a delay there, there's too much action going on.
Everyone looking a bit isolated in reality there, potentially a bit of panic going down. There was nothing really coming through from them, and it's all come crumbling down. Reflex, they win a round potentially that shouldn't really have gone their way. Off the back of that pause, they've had a little bit of time to potentially change things around, and this is where the game could start going now.
So the double AWP actually comes through. So Mog, the other player who plays A, picked one up from the previous round. Emmy buys his own. So obviously we're going to be going for 4B from the get-go. Mog on his own towards A as he had the best spawn. Although he's not going for an aggressive peek by any means. But he will be smoked off on that angle very soon.
Ooh, JCMX.
He's been controlling this angle so far, hasn't he? With the CZ mostly. But you've got to be wondering how will that play through later on as well. Smooth is ready for this. Flash comes through. He actually tags Emmy on the corner of short. And Luz has actually killed him all the way through from Monster, like the steps near the barrel.
He's got the spray.
He actually got the spray from the wall. Quite a rare one.
Oh, yeah.
A welcome sight.
Yeah.
But obviously we did see Mog get the trade kill at the other side of the map as well. So down to a minute left. Still got double AWP, so JCMX actually did recover that one. So I mean, if I remember correctly, we didn't see him pick up the AWP match in the regular season. So quite an unusual one there. The question is, what will they be planning to do with the AWP on A? I mean, he's holding the angle in toilets right now. Smoke comes in at long. Also to delay if there were to be a burst. But they're actually going for the triple stack.
Ooh.
Let's see how this plays through. Proven to be quite difficult.
Yeah, didn't really work out for them. Luckily, the firing squad
oh wow,
the entry kill. But Mog is in the ring. They could all line up, Ben. Oh, it was so close to be terrible for them. But it does happen in the end as well. Mog smacking them down. Feeding two birds with one scone there, Ben. And all of a sudden, it comes down to JKM. A 1 versus 3. 7 seconds on the clock. He can't recover the bomb. But he is going to try and get some heads for his troubles. Goes down just before time there, actually.
Yeah, it's crucial he did go down at that time, but you got to be wondering if they're triple boosted, do they potentially find a kill out of it?
Oh, that was the last spam.
So that could have very easily
That's
been
what
a
I was
triple.
thinking. I thought that was just instantly going to be the triple on the swing. That was a Mighty Max moment. Ben, he's got to kill all 5 to win a round.
So the scout being brought in by Surreal, I mean, that's quite an unusual one.
Yes.
Just, I mean, it's something I've been seeing, you know, in a matchmaking game. Not quite in a situation like this. Obviously, you'd normally have an SMG, wouldn't you?
To be fair, I do remember Surreal with the scout, the LAN they went to with CEX when they won the whole LAN, and he was absolutely giving it. It was one of those overpass games where he was just feeling himself and he was taking every fight.
Yeah. That was a weird LAN.
That was a weird LAN.
So JCMX, he's winning all these firefights towards B right now. Luz has not been doing too great out there. Potentially victim to this, you know, position he's been placed in, perhaps. But you know, within 10 seconds, that trade-off's completely gone. Smooth's already got a kill there. B will be the play. However, it depends what kind of setup you're going to go for. Is it a full execute that's going to come in? Smooth will have a set of grenades he can do from short, at least. Looks like contact would actually be the play. Just one flash perhaps from Smooth coming through.
Wow. Straight into the site. Emmy caught off guard, couldn't do too much. The Orc spam from Caster, he's only going to get one, but Surreal was incredibly low at the very least. Jumps up on top of the barrels, is eventually punished. They're getting the dinks off. Smooth would have to save it. It's going to need to be a ridiculous clutch if it was going to come through. But Reflex, they're winning these rounds now, Ben. Got a little bit of momentum back in their side. They need to lock it down the CT side as well. We know, I mean, the stats don't lie. Obviously, the actual pool we had as a benchmark was quite limited there, but it is true. From what we've seen in the past, Reflex are a team that can dominate on that CT side on overpass. That's where they get into the swing of things. They're very effective being able to hold those angles. Again, that also falls back into the fact they are no stranger in still rocking those 5-org setups, even with the price change coming back in.
Yeah, hitting them with a quick B short play though. Should be an easy clear up for them. Just Jacob alive. So all 5 players stay alive. Very clean, didn't use many grenades. A very nice round to bolster the economy, all things considered. Those last few rounds that they had won, they were probably dropping 2-3 players each time. Pensioners though, they're probably thinking we need to change something up a bit here, just because we lost 4 in the bounce now. We probably should have done better with some of these. But we're seeing Reflex though, you know, as the rounds develop, they're changing the way they set up some of their B holds.
Whisk's been stabbed.
He actually fell off the CT bit where you drop down the stairs.
Oh,
so if you do it on a bad angle,
yeah.
you lose health. Yeah. Because it was either going to be that or dropping out of heaven. Right?
Yeah.
So the AAA long setup was coming through. Reflex playing retake on B as well. However, it's going to be a B monster play. Mog probably should have landed at least one of those. All things considered. Both
The
players
HE
gone
can be
across.
nice though.
Decent damage. That's 3 players that can die through one shot with an AUG to the head now.
Yeah, he's actually put them into a pretty effective
Oh.
position from that JCMX. The lurk coming around, but Lazar was ready for it. The big biceps come out. He's hitting with the right hook, Ben. Oh, the Molotovs are doing so much damage. Look at the commotion that they're caught in. Luckily, they do win the firefight against Smooth, but the flashbangs are keeping them at bay. Everyone is just trapped there, dancing as they wait to go back in together, holding hands. They skip their way into the bomb site, but it is not going to be a happy day. Emmy is the only one left, and he will fall very shortly after there. JCam taking him down with support from Lazar. 6-4 now, as Pensioners bite back.
Yeah, very well. Oh, a nicely timed B
Yeah.
XQ, right? Just based off Reflex going for that 3 players towards long. Which, unlucky, I guess, is the main thing there. It was just wrong, you know, wrong play at the wrong time for them. Just the 1-AWP going through this time, though. Mog going to be going for that same peak he did a few rounds ago. But the flash is coming through quite quickly here. It's going to be a fast A play. And this smoke slightly missed.
Oh.
Maybe that was spectate though, actually. Because I feel like he couldn't see as much as we saw.
No.
That's for sure.
Emmy had full vision there. I mean,
Yeah.
at that point, you would have just gone for the spray, right? You saw like 3 players.
Yeah.
There's no way it was just the trigger discipline. It had to be the smoke. But shots coming back through. Smooya on the site, shutting things down. Whisk's been eliminated, and it probably is just going to be that save. They're backing out, trying to clutch onto those weapons. I mean, you've got the full investment there. There's no point throwing that away.
Yeah, get me thinking there's going to be some sort of hunt from the T's here. Shaney obviously walking through B. They did hear them rotate off, obviously JC Max jumping off heaven, you can hear that on the A side. But Lazar, with the AWP, he doesn't really want to push too quickly into them or too far.
Ooh.
Equal blows right there.
Yeah, that was a very fair trade of damage, actually.
Shaney will have that information though, that at the very least there was a player towards that T-spawn area. I don't think he'll be expecting Casa to be at the deep angle though, because it's quite a difficult angle to like peek anyway here. See, he's quite shrouded in there, but he actually still got the kill. That's not a very good gun to lose right there as well. If you look at the cash, they could have really done with an extra one, because you could potentially drop one across here, right?
Yeah, that could have actually saved them going into this if they would have had both players survive to redistribute their wealth. Instead, it really is the only weapon in play being the AUG on JCMX. Rather than that, it's the CZs. They went around before, though, with a worse buy. Can they do it again? Casa, up close and personal, this time with the Deagle. Spots the Shadow, goes for the pre-fire. They both step into it, so he has tagged them up. But can his teammates now bag them? Mog, with a quick flick, CZ shut down onto Smooya. Molotov blocks them off, though. They're starting to get isolated now. They're slowing the round down. Tempo not getting too outrageous. The CTs are still finding frags, Ben. The T's haven't actually even made it fully on towards the bomb site yet. Lazar has the AWP in his hands, and this is where history can definitely still be made. Morgan Emmy in the 2v2. Both waiting on close short. A minute on the clock. They are going to commit and try and go for the bomb plant now as they aggress together. Emmy walking out, slowly shifting into position as he faces this. He's actually going to walk straight into the crosshair of Lazar. However, he was primed. Gets the flick up to the head, and it's all back onto the K-Man. He was a bit of a clutch master. Can he relive some of that? The spray down coming through. Very close there. If he would have got the frag on Emmy, in reality, he would have still been able to play around it and try to close down the round, though. Reflex. They were proving quite hard to actually give them entry in towards the site, but
it's been shown that they know how to play in those really awkward areas, right? Where there's a lot of commotion, a lot of things going on. And Pensioners, obviously, they're being quite timid at certain areas. They're like, do we even, how do we get up this bit? Whisk was behind that pillar for ages, and he knew he had teammates on short. Obviously, JCMX arrived at the right time, got 3 kills from heaven. Nobody was aware that he could be doing that. So they're going for this 3A long setup again. And coincidentally, it's the same sort of play from Pensioners again. It's more of a B play. Quite an unlucky one. They'll see that smoke coming towards Monster as well. They'll know that was done from deep, and that's actually missed as well, might add. So they just flashed the peek and Cassa's seen there's no smoke there. Tempted his own smoke as well there. But as I said, they did have 3 players towards long. They've got all that information. This time they're double rotating it. This is all going to be about timing, I think, because they've decided to commit 2 players behind instead of the 1. And it's just as I think they're exiting, because Lazar, he shouldn't be turning around, should he?
they are actually going to find each other. They go for the full fight. It's a trade, a twofer, going in favor of the Reflex side. It's a 4-on-2 now overall, and they've got complete bomb control. All the map control in the world. They literally isolate everything, but JChem is there, waiting to try and give out a people's elbow. But he's lost it all, Ben. Gun down in the streets, and it's just left up to Smooya with the AWP. But he can't get the connection off. Whisk's going to eliminate him. 7-6, Reflex. They are bringing it back. They're keeping it close. This is going to be a very tight half now if it carries on with this form. Obviously, Pensioners, they're pretty strapped for cash going into this one.
Looks like they are going to commit to that buy though. 3 AKs, not the worst thing in the world, but you got to be thinking, surely it's going to be something a bit quicker paced, based off, you don't have much utility. And that looks to be the case, because normally Lezo would be towards that B side of the map. This time, 4 players in connected with just Smooya on his own towards mid. And it's actually been a fast mid burst. Emmy's been holding this angle very often, but he's actually holding towards mid now instead.
Ooh. And they're just swarming in. This is the difference maker. Last time they took it very slow, very timid. This time around, they're going a lot more aggressive. And it is JChem and Smooya left into the 2 versus 3. They've got the site control. They're able to push up into a better position. They've got 1 minute and 15 seconds to play with. Still worried, paranoid about the potential players working on the site. As JChem begins to clear it. Casa just going to wait in line.
Yeah, trying to find a kill before they actually commit to that plan. Not able to really find anything too much so far. JCMX making that long rotate behind them. However, they do get the bomb down, so the timer will be going from now. Some decent, grenades available for this retake, but you got to be thinking Pensioner side, you need to make some sort of play. You saw a 3v2. And Smooya, he actually gets the opportunity to get that kill.
How has he gone away with that? Surely they should have capitalized on that one, Ben. You have to find that frag. The fact you've left Smooya alive as well means he could start to really do some damage. He's going to want to put a dent in Reflex. JChem survives towards long as well. They're swarming towards the site, but they've swung in front of Smooya, both of them trying to focus so heavily on JChem, coming in at the same time. They forget about the stealthy Smooya. He's done them in.
Yeah, very awkward situation. I mean, the player at CT stairs really needs to do better.
Yeah.
It looked like he had a complete side angle view. Obviously, Smooya, we saw on his screen, he was not looking that way.
The full flick, he had, what, maybe like half a second there to get that frag. In reality, if he had anything other than an AUG maybe, just the face with the M4, the AK, probably would have gone for the 2-tap on the head and just got the kill. Spam came back to bite him, Ben.
So this setup's very aggressive, but they did very well with it last round. Like, they got 3 kills, they did so well. However, this time, can't but feel like it's going to go wrong. Both players go down, not even a single kill this time. The rotate is early onto the site, so you'll at least have Whisk there, but you got to be thinking 3v5, we need to make info elsewhere. JCMX pushing toward Monster right now as well. It's a very awkward round right here because you've got JChem already up towards this site, pushing Whisk back a bit. It's going to be CT's needing to make a play, but will they even have the opportunity to do so? Is a different question. So the question is, will Smooya actually flash out short for them in the actual back? Wait, did JCMX not see him? I don't think he did he?
I don't think he actually got the info there. Ooh.
Thankfully he has moved off, but they all have heard that. They should know there's 2 players here.
Yeah, should actually give them a bit of a favour. The burst straight out through the smoke as well. Oh, and they are falling down. Jake M is the entry man here. 3 kills for Jake into the round, and it'll actually be the difference maker that wins them the half, as they do take it 9-6 there, Ben.
He's on a mad one.
He is on a mad one.
5 ping. He's loving it.
It's ridiculous. Normally when he's at home, he's lagging everywhere. This time he's got the peak's advantage, Ben. He can just take those firefights. And to be fair, a lot of that power is probably coming from the Rasta Gaming jersey. By the way, I might add, that is 100% the jersey he had when Richard did the interview with him as The Rock. that is by far that one.
It is an old school one.
It's literally a throwback.
So it looks like Reflex going for a fast B short play though. Smooya had an opportunity to get some kills, but ultimately they've run into the B stack, and it's kind of a bit awkward, it's fair to say.
Ooh, this is not really ideal, but the headshot's being picked up, but it will be saved by the Pensioners as the pistol round is over lickety split, Ben. That was quite a rapid one.
Yeah, I mean, Reflex on their way towards B short, they get the kill on Smooya. I can't help but feel like you potentially abort just because you got that kill in the middle map sort of area. You don't really need to commit to this, you know, hard push. But Reflex, again, they lost the first pistol on the map anyway. They're going to eco again, they're going to buy next. On the T side of things, quite different obviously. You'll be able to get AK armor quite comfortably, it's just a case of your utility being quite low. Smooya's going to be hoping he can stop these players from getting to that M4.
Well, he will get the first. Actually trade it back, luckily enough. Surreal wins the firefight versus Casa. If he would have been trapped down there fighting for too much longer, it could have actually allowed them to converge. Jacob takes a bit of a hit, bringing down to 76 as he's rotating his way over. Oh, Mog on the site, spray down. It's all up to him. Full rotation back around. Going to go over towards the B site, but they spot him. Go for the shot across. He could try and play the mind games here, and actually will do so. Oh, he's trying to bait them in. They fall for it, Ben. Luzzer goes down. It's the 1v1. Surreal. Ooh. On the face! Straight into the crosshair. Mog wins it. You can see hands off the mouse instantly. He knew. He knew.
That's a really random round to win.
Yeah.
All things considered, right? You know, they get to the M4, and you're thinking, okay, he'll probably get the plant on A. He'll probably lose the 1v2 because they'll probably push him. But instead he goes for that fake play, he drops down. He managed to get 2 1v1s. But ultimately he's landed the headshots when needed. You've got no armor, you can't really win the firefight. So a very random round to win. I was already talking about the potential of them buying next round. However, it's a much stronger buy than I anticipated. So Shaney did actually get an opening kill onto Mog with the scout there, I believe through the corner of the wall when you're facing mid. At the same time, the Smooya is making, well, has made an aggressive play here, which unfortunately will result in him walking into Emmy. Just because they know if we hold on T side, they will get very impatient. If we play very slowly, it will annoy them a lot. JCam, that's a kill he should be getting, really. Fall into the classic CZ bait right there, where it feels like you can just spam it, but evidently not.
Does always come back to bite you when you least expect it. It's easy pickings from the entries here to close it down. Reflex can get that round. Only really losing Mog, so it's not too bad. Mog's actually the one really doing the damage for the team. Obviously that clutch round will be a big confidence boost for everyone as well. That'll start to get your momentum high. That is absolutely the way to come back into the game if you're going to.
Yeah, I mean the crazy thing is, right now you're probably thinking we can probably push it to about 10-10.
Yeah.
Because if Pensioners want to buy next round, it'll still be quite weak. Like you'll get 2,400 for this loss. Yeah, it's not fantastic by any means. It means that you might have a situation like the org buy we saw from Reflex in the first half. And coincidentally, this little strat that they just did on the eco was basically the same thing that Reflex did on the second round. I think that was a case of 4x3, right?
It must have been.
Because it did feel quite wide span on at least our point of view. But Reflex, they knew there was a mid push going on. B plant comes through. Technically in the pension side, so like normally you try and hold for access or just swarm into the site randomly on these rounds, right? You lose nothing by saving. Other than you make sure they don't get the bonus cash, i.e. Mog right now, he's getting $600 per kill here. If you were to just try and save, or at least play, a very, very defensive angle, That is rough.
Oh.
That was very rough. But if you play like a very defensive angle, you don't give them the opportunity to get the kill reward, right? Obviously, it's a bit more boring. It kills the momentum on their side too, if you just play as defensive as you can when you're just saving, US
Yeah.
beats. But I suppose if Mog jumps around the corner like that, you're not going to be able to do anything, ultimately.
Honestly, if he plays like that, he'll win the whole land, Ben. You just have to completely give it, and he is feeling himself right now. The confidence in the jump around the corner, just send Smooya down to the graveyard in a matter of seconds. I mean, Lunacy, Reflex, they're definitely starting to get warmed up. And that T-side's actually where they're beginning to thrive as well, which is a complete difference to what we'd seen in the past, especially versus a team like Pensioners. When you think of how they work normally, they should be able to do well on that T-side. A lot of these players have played together before. You've got Smooya that was always very good and effective at being able to open up those sites. CT sides where things might slow down a little bit. Obviously, Lazar, we've had times in the past where if he can't get into it and find his role, he's not able to go for those more aggressive faces, things start slowing down. He falls into a little bit of a rut.
Yeah, so ultimately, we've got the attack balls coming through. But we have seen that Pensioners, they actually have gone for a half buy. So I did mention that, their buy would be quite weak, right? Ultimately, if they were to go for it, and this makes quite a lot of sense, right?
Well, Ben, the biggest thing is as well, do you feel like Reflex coming back into this purely because of that game of goo?
It could be.
It could be the game of goo.
To be fair, what is game of goo meant to be?
I'm not sure. Other
I've
brands of
never heard
goo
of it.
are available.
Yes,
of course.
you could get sport goo.
Sport goo. Yeah. Well, Ben, £90 million brand deal we had there.
£90 million.
£90 million brand deal we had with Gamer Goo. Gone. All gone. Nightmare.
He's hogging all the hand warmers.
He is indeed.
He's got 3.
That's ridiculous.
That's not fair. We're back into it though. So 10-9, still in favour of Pensioners. You got to be thinking Reflex should make it 10-10 here. And obviously Mog is kept that Mac 10. It's worth noting no head armor on any of those CTs. So we could see a repeat of what we saw last round. If you're Reflex though, the way that Pensioners are playing this round, they're playing it in the sense that we want to trick you to think we have ball.
Yeah.
So they've got quite a lot of utility, a lot of smokes. And you can see the cautious style here. This is nothing like the last round. They've not shot a pistol yet, they haven't shown anything. They've gone aggressive towards B, which I do like to see. The aggression towards Monster, when executed correctly, it's very nice. However, Jacob, you probably can't go further than that.
Oh, the timing. Shady. Actually still getting the kill. Nearly the swing onto the second person as well. Reface is out, though. And Emmy, as he pushes up towards Party, will punish him.
So the question is, when you see that Deagle in play, do you suddenly decide to play the round differently? Because you should know they're probably not going to buy them. Like, you wouldn't have a player just buy Deagle when you just equal the previous round, right? So I imagine the scenario here is they should be trying to group towards something. But if Whiskey's going out towards short on his own, this could be bad news. Like, he'll probably try and flash himself out or get a flash from Monster. I was going to say, depending on JKM's movement. If he's too close to the door, they did see him. Oh no, the timing.
Whisk shooting his way through him. Lazar as well. A bit of a lucky tap actually with the 5-7. Smooya on the site. Almost the flick around and the dirty Deegan coming through. We'll see the bomb planted. Reflex finally get themselves a 10th round as it is tied up at this point. Now this is scary as well. Because in reality we do have a side of potential superstars on Pensioners, the old and the new. But Reflex, they should have a bit more synergy, really. They should have that teamwork coming through. And the difference maker that we had, especially when we played against them on Overpass, it was the fact that once they started getting their confidence, they would just give it. They would take those firefights. Normally what we would see from the Pensioners, Ben, but that's kind of dying down.
Let's see how this B rush plays through though. The set flash is coming out. The smoke comes out in front of barrels, but it's a bit too late. Lazar, he had no real support there. He had to put the smoke there himself. Ideally, you've got a player doing that for you, just so you can keep your gun out. The B site is completely taken, and ultimately you've got to retake. You've got decent grenades for it, but you got the player with the most grenades, Shaney, he's stuck indoor right now, and you got to be thinking he probably falls back or falls in the serve or in the round here. Oh, suddenly
things have changed. And this is actually getting much worse for the T's. Mog would need to get another clutch round to add to his collective, but he's not got an extra one in the quota this time. Pensioners getting the 11th round as the retake is very successful. 3 kills picked up for Smooyer into the round, definitely proving to be a bit of a difference maker as he gets himself to 21 kills now.
Yeah, just when I was kind of saying that round was, starting to look quite bad for them. They get a quick flurry, 3 kills immediately. Smooyer, thankfully, holding this angle down, landing the shots when needed. Reflex will be back in with another buy as those anti-eco runs they did have, very clean. But a double up on the T side, willingly buying into it, is very rare. Sometimes it'd be a mistake where you picked up another AWP, right?
Ooh.
Oh. He actually was ready for that.
That was so easy as well. Just held and flipped.
Very nice. It's a really awkward kill to lose as well on the CT side of things, because you're wondering, why is he expecting that?
It's also one that could be pretty frustrating for Smooyer, especially because of how important this round necessarily could be for the flow of the game.
Shaney's made a very good play here, though. Ultimately, when you've lost the play towards A, if you're on your own, it's so hard to be able to maintain that map control, just because there's so much of the area. Like that, this map is, there's a lot of A map control to be achieved. But he's managed to get pretty much all of it, just off that one little push. And Reflex, as I said, they'll play this very slow style, knowing pensioners will probably get impatient about it. However, you look towards Monster right now, and pensioners, they don't need to make a play there. They know Shaney's got A. We can just keep delaying. Shaney will probably know if it's an A. But the timing here could be very, very bad. He's walking towards Mog, and actually Mog gets the kill. So just a bit too impatient. He didn't really need to make that play, I feel. It's one of those where if you just control party, you can hold connector, you can hold that other side as well, like Fountain. You can do both.
JCMX lurking his way behind them, does kill one player on the flank, and here comes the execute out towards the site. The easy spray down coming across. JChem left on 22 HP, and he will get yoted out the server.
Yeah, ultimately, that round, you got to be thinking from the get-go, you're already in the back foot, just because Mog, very ready for that. Obviously, we had it from X-Ray's point of view as well, so we saw the players crossing. But from that basis, I don't think he saw anything. He just was ready for the deep angle. Surreal kind of accepting he'll have a weak buy next for things, 1250. He's bought a Deagle and Kevlar. Obviously everybody else a bit more wealthy.
I mean, at least.
Short crunch is going to come in. You got the one flash from JCam.
Yeah. Shaney with the spam, gets the one off. Lazar actually on the short crunch could go for it here. Potentially the AWP is watching it. Fast peeks it, tries to bait out the shot. He gets tagged as well. 31 HP left on him. It's a 3-on-3. The head count's the same, Ben, but the firepower definitely isn't.
Yeah, the other thing is you're lacking the armor as well. So Surreal, as I said, he bought Kevlar with his Deagle here. Ideally, you get the AK in his hands rather, just because Lazar, chances are, if he gets into firefight, he won't win it. Aim punch will be a factor. But instead, the AK doesn't even get a chance. They actually sent the AK towards A to solo it. And sadly for him, they did not go towards him. But Reflex potentially overdoing it a bit. I know they saw Lazar towards B, so maybe thinking, why would we bother running into him as well? But I feel like if you're on that A bomb site, you're more likely to be able to get this headshot angles.
Yeah.
Right. He'll hear it too late though. That's the thing. He'll be in heaven. He'll hear them running up highway now.
Ooh.
A save isn't the worst thing.
No, especially considering Joe doesn't have a kit here going into this one either. Just the AK and 5.7 to rock with.
The fact they planted on that side's kind of crazy. Oh no. You can just see the confidence in the potential clutch right there. Fail the jump, make noise. Ah, I've lost then.
Get me out, get me out.
So this will be actually Reflex taking the lead again, which I think was, it's the first time in quite a while, is it? Or have they never had a lead thinking about it? Because they lost the pistol.
Yeah. We saw it get equalised, and that was it.
Yeah,
obviously, that was the instant response back from pensioners. At this point as well, actually, Mog should be getting pretty close here in terms of overall effect in the server to Smooyer as well. I think he was sat at about 21 frags.
Yeah, 21 for him.
Yeah.
Smooyer will be on the same as well, because he hasn't... Well, he got the one kill and all the Deagle rounds, so yeah, 21 kills each. So much more of a spread on the actual Reflex side compared to the pensioner side. Like, Luz has not had a fantastic game by his usual standard or what we expect from him.
Well, that's the issue as well, is it feels like if Lazar doesn't have like a big sort of T-half impact, he can struggle to get himself going onto that CT side because of those sort of clutch rounds where obviously being that B side player, if there's no real aggression towards B early on, he gets left to the snow where he's then got to rotate up towards A. Most of the time he's left just with the AWP trying to clutch it out, and it's a struggle to retake that site.
Yeah, time up from Pensions, obviously, there was the mention of Ross being behind them as well, which a man that Jacob's had a lot of work with. Same goes with Lazar, obviously in XL. I always felt he was more of an analyst role myself.
Yeah.
Based off what from what we've seen, what he's brought to the table.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot more strat based, this sort of stuff. So I'm wondering how much of an impact he's able to have during the tactical timeouts. Obviously with a mix as well, you can't really gauge your crowd.
It is much harder. Obviously, a lot of what he used to do in the past was literally going back over the basics with even heat map stuff at one point. We saw a lot of the actually interesting things from Ross. There was definitely a lot of bright ideas that they tried with that team at the time, back in the XL days.
Shoney pulling away from that just at the right time. Smoothie will have to do the same towards Long soon enough, as the toilet control has been relinquished completely towards that front side. But Smoothie's actually tempting fate a bit. He's going for the pick instead. Which, depending on the timing here, if he moves, oh, he did see a player cross as well. Shaney got that kill, thankfully drew the attention away. That's a run.
Yeah. A swing and a miss for Shaney. He's walked right into a doorknob, Ben.
You don't want to do that.
No, it's giving him a black eye. Oh, Smooth as well. Takes Emmy's Fi out. And it's back into the 4 versus 3. Peek's going to come around. Mog faces straight into him. He was poised and ready for that one. Pulls the trigger. Does eliminate him. We've got 40 seconds on the clock. It's a 3 versus 3. 2 players towards the B site. The rotation coming around. JKM looking to try and help bolster the defense towards A if he can. Surreal is in position as well, waiting to lock horns as they slowly approach Mog. Another potential prey in his vision. Whisk has the angle. We could try and go for the face and the cross, and that's when Surreal needs to get involved and go for the wide swing. Swats at the barrel, pre-fires it a bit too early. They peek into him. Cassa's causing trouble as he's got the double kill. And it's all back on Lazar in the 1 versus 3, Ben.
Yeah, Surreal a bit too quick on the trigger right there. Obviously, he saw the shadow, he then saw the gun barrel. You know, from his point of view, you're probably thinking why he's hesitating so much on that peak, like the extra player. But Kassa, I mean, he's got the kill towards JKM and then actually spun around and got the kill towards Default, or behind Truck rather. And as you mentioned, Lazar, left in a 1v3 again.
Yeah.
Not getting
really
impact,
is kind of the. This is the problem. It's literally the tale of 2 Lazars on over past CT side, right? When we get into a scenario where sometimes you see it where it'll be like this, where he just really is stuck in those just windy positions.
Yeah, a bit windy.
And it blows him out the way.
Yeah.
Like, he does start hitting him. But you have to have that confident Lazar on your side. If he doesn't start going for those faces and start building his confidence back up, he just gets left in that absolute stagnant state. That was really unlucky from Shane.
Yeah, Kassa, this is the bit.
The quick flick, yeah.
It's those kind of kills that, from the other point of view, Surreal, obviously, he'd be annoyed that that player hasn't walked into his spray when he's spraying it. And then you turn to kill the other guy and he's just done that to you. You're just like, how? Like, what is that? So Lazar, because he saved the previous round, he's been able to drop an orb to Smooth. So this is like a half buy into the round. Because I believe they're hitting maximum loss bonus very soon. Or at least they are on it.
Ooh.
So finally Lazar's getting a chance to be a part of the round here.
Yeah, getting involved, playing around the box, gets the first elimination. They drop the smokes on the site. There is a small gap for Lazar to play through, but he won't even have to start dealing damage yet. Everyone else is just popping off. They're all crumbling down,
He's
Ben.
in the smoke.
Oh, Mog.
All 5. I've never seen 5 players run up and play on the smoke like that before. A 5-0 actual round take by Pensioners just on like a half buy, technically on a win.
Yeah.
Like you've dropped an orb, knowing the money will be about equalised there. So ultimately, you think of the economy now. They've got a great amount of money going through. Morg will probably buy himself an AWP again. This is a very big round. Obviously, we can't get fully reset anymore because of that economy change. So Pensioners will have a few rounds built up for loss bonus, but on the CT side, obviously, everything costs just a bit more anyway. That Molotov will stop their play immediately there. They're planning to do that boost towards the short pipe. Once again, though, a lot of proactive plays, and the Molly's still burning them. Was that a different one? Surely that was a different one. They like to boost, don't they?
Do you love a boost?
That's the 3rd different one. We've seen actually fourth, technically, if you count the attempt at the triple.
The failed attempt.
Valiant. Interesting pre-fire, but unfortunately Smooya is still ready for that angle. And he actually just exits too short very quickly.
They're all just out, yeah.
So Pensioners looking to add to that tally the CT rounds won. Ideally here, they probably, I don't think they're in a position where they can actually drop a round in this scenario, because otherwise they'll need to have another round like the previous one, where they win out of nothing. And Mog, it seems that every time there's some sort of entry for the CTs, he seems to retaliate immediately. Like, he seems to get some kind of kill back.
It really has been a bit of a game of push and pull with Mog, and for the most part, he's been finding a lot of success. 30 seconds though. Smooya.
Oh, he just blocked the smoke.
Ooh.
Wait, he didn't actually stop it completely.
He did nudge it slightly, but it doesn't really help him too much. He's going to try and play around it. They aggress towards the site. They do get the first kill. JChem needs to do something heroic, but there will be no heroism today. He is absolutely done for, and it's all on Lazar. Once again, the rotation coming around. The last man alive. Molotov blocks off his passage, so he's isolated. Just has to go for the option through bank. Can he make a withdrawal? And check out with this one, Ben. Sprints up towards the site, tapping away with the AK. He gets hit by the uppercut of Emmy and Reflex. They get round 14. Pensioners, they're crumbling away, Ben. They need something, some kind of momentum. They've got to wake up now.
That's the thing, I mean, that's quite an unfortunate kill to lose, obviously, from Surreal's point of view there. But they did kind of force the issue. Like, Mog holding this angle very comfortably, ready for players to just walk through. Very disjointed attempt with the retake, I think, is the main thing as well. Because instead of waiting for all your team to get there, they've just decided to start going in.
It feels like it's been so fragmented for the most part, the entire CT half, though. Like, every retake has just been chaos. It's like comms just go out the window.
Yeah, it's been hero play after hero play, right? Which is kind of what we saw from the first 3 games of the Pensioner season. Really, wasn't it? Like, the first regular season games, it was a lot of just hero play attempts.
Everyone just trying to think they could go for the hero play and, still win the round, when in reality now, the games aren't that easy. It's not that stacked in your favour. You might have the potential individual skill benefit on some of the players there, but it's not that high where you can just go, all right, balls to the walls every round, let's absolutely give it, and we'll still win those. We did see that change to a bit of structure when Smooya came in, which was actually the potential good benefit.
I didn't think he even got a shot off that.
No, that was rapid.
Very, very quick. Surreal, he needs to make it work though. He's had issues at track and he still is now. Shaney, unfortunately for him, the shadow showing, and this looking like Reflex gets that 15th round. It's got to be a save though. Yeah. The B rotate's been quite late most of these rounds. Other than the quick rotate of Surreal, the other player's been quite delayed. Reflex on Pensioner's pick, my god.
Normally the maps that they do absolutely pop off on, they can thrive here. This is literally Smooya's home turf in reality. It's a worrying affair, Ben. Let's see if they can try and hold on to these orgs. JCMX, headhunting, finds one. Lazar will at least survive and most likely get through, clutching onto this, but they are bombarding towards them. He's confident for it though. He is just going to face it.
He's got about 4 seconds to actually live here. He actually hits both players and was ready for another. He was swinging.
Yeah, the biceps were coming out. He started windmilling.
So he can drop an AWP across. So that, as we saw right there towards the end. So Luz will be dropping an AWP across with Smooya. It's going to be a weak buy, like utility-wise, but in terms of actual firepower, it's as good as it'll get, right? You've got 4 orgs, you've got an AWP. They've had a very good buy the last 4 or 5 rounds as well, as the worrying thing. But they just can't seem to, get themselves in a position where, they can make it work. So ultimately, they've got 3 rounds to pull back. Can they do it though? Mog's been on an absolute mad one since that 1v3.
He's been on a tear. That really was the wake-up sort of confidence round for him, and he's been giving it ever since. Reflex, they literally just need 1 round to shut this down and push themselves across to take overpass, which would be a huge way to start off the day for them.
That's really missed, like, quite a bit there. Normally that'd be smoking just the front of bathrooms. Instead, Smooya was able to get a complete overview of it all. So they're lucky they didn't make a fast A play, that's for sure. But Reflex, I mean, they've been playing slow and it's been working for them. That's the thing. It's, but as I mentioned, the slow play, forcing Pensioners to make the error, has been the way forward for them so far. I do like that smoke from Smoothie though as well. Kind of makes them concerned about why that smoke's there. Whisk doesn't actually have anybody to flash him in to the turret here. So he'll have to dry peek it, in which case the shadow will show before he actually peeks here. Or he'll have to wait for a teammate to arrive, and it looks like he's just going to back off instead. 45 seconds left. Good utility still left on Shaney as well as on Leza. So the timing, just about in his favour. Just about.
By the skin of his teeth, Shaney shimmers away. Smoothie goes for the face as well. Eliminates Mog. That is a good kill to get. Try and really stamp out that confidence at its core. 25 seconds. Things are going to be rushed, Ben. It will be chaos. But we know they love those rounds. Leza in front of the flashbang, spraying his way down as everyone gets assaulted with the AUG. And they do get that 13th round. They're trying to bring it back. Overtime is their only hope at this point. But they're hungering for it.
You can see the difference though. When Pensioners do not give them a chance to capitalise, you force them into a bomb site through a narrow choke point, and you're able to just grab them and make them, force them through a smoke as well at that. Into Leza, he gets all 3 kills. We have 5 players alive as well, it means you got full utility into this round. Putting yourself in a good position to potentially try and force towards that overtime scenario. But all things considered, we've seen Reflex, forced the round after that. There was a round where they had 5 alive on the Pension side, and they still, got the round back after it. Not a good start though. Casa 4 into Smoothie. And that's been the running trend so far. Casa's always been like lurker towards the B side. I'm not sure if Pensioners will know him by name, because I don't think they've actually pushed into him too much.
No. Ooh, Shaney.
That timing was just about.
Yeah.
I think so. I think it was just about in time. But Smoothie is finally winning these AWP fights against Mog. Like, it feels like it was like 4-0 in Mog's favour in this half. 2 kills in his favour since. 45 seconds. They're planning to burst this smoke.
Ooh.
Instead they'll go on Shaney's death.
Yeah, we really needed Shaney to have a big impact to the round there at that point. If he was going to start punishing them down, they could still scratch their way through. However, they're losing the firefights. Smoothie had done enough damage at the start of the round, and the site defense was strong when it needed to hold up. Round 30, 15-14, Reflex. They'll have a bit of cash to work with. It's not the best, so the spread is going to be less than ideal, really. They're still going to have to try and bring that confidence. They've got the pause to work with. Shiki trying to instill something into them. Yeah, telling them the raw truth. He's saying, have you seen my video on Mirage? Did you see my smokes? And they've gone, no.
Should I make one for Overpass? Yes. Okay.
To be fair, Shiki these days, a Fortnite player, isn't he? So it would be more telling them
how
how
to play
field.
Apex?
Maybe he does.
Pretty sure he plays Apex.
He plays all the esports, doesn't he?
Yeah, GTA.
He is a gamer. Yeah, GTA RP. Right now he's RPing as coach.
So ultimately, this buy from Reflex, it was the best they could put together. You got 2 smokes, 3 flashes, 2 HEs. It's not a great one by any means. You got 2 AKs at least. But if you're running into that B site, it's probably bad news. Unless you get that first opening kill. But I can't help but feel like Leza should have some adequate support here. J-Chem's ready with the smoke in heaven.
Oh, if there's a round for the biceps to start popping, this is when it needs to come out. Leza, though, can't even find the first frag. J-Chem and Surreal, they get a kill apiece, but it's a 3 versus 3. Surreal still doming them down. JCMX and Emmy. Small transfer of damage as he slowly pushes his way up. He's actually getting into a pretty fantastic angle to try and get the kill, but he can't do it. Surreal, it's a 4K to defend it. 15-15, Ben, they're pushing it to OT.
Those last 3 rounds of regulation were there for Surreal. Very big impact. Obviously, I said he needed to prove his worth at track.
Yeah.
And then after that, he got 4 kills obviously that round, 2 in the previous. Showing his value, but it does mean we're going into overtime. This is MR3 16K as well, bear in mind.
Ooh, we saw the double AWP buy come out. Jacob's bought it, but just instantly thrown it away. We've left one of the AWPs in spawn.
Interesting.
That was a misbuy, yeah. That's
Thankfully, he's got 16K.
I mean, that could actually be kind of rough, though.
Yeah, it does mean he'll probably need a drop, which is unheard of.
Yeah.
16k MR3.
However, that does
Assuming
also
they
mean there is
lose.
an AWP back on site.
Yeah.
If Shaney fell back towards site, that might not be the worst thing in the world.
He's
if things
picked it
go
up
wrong.
now.
There you go.
Actually. So there's going to be a flash coming through, surely. They actually dry peek it with the AWP. As in, shoulder peek, dry peek. So Surreal's going to be making the move forwards. Muya coming back as well. So it's constant proactiveness still across the map. They're just allowing Smoothie to make the plays when they need to, rather than, you know, exercising their options towards B in the form of, you know, Lazar making the play, JCam making this play. Same goes for Shaney too. Shaney's more holding the angles rather than anything else.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, he did see them. So an unusual boost, really, all things considered. Also just about reaches. However, there is nobody in that corner anyway. But Surreal's going to make a huge info play. If he were to go towards the ladder way, he'd be able to identify that he's going to be more of a B play, but ultimately he'll get the rotate regardless.
Yeah, he cuts this off every time. They should walk straight into him. That's one. He can now quickly respond as well to try and help out towards the B site, but he won't need to. Jake M is landing those headshots. And it's just JCMX and Whisk that remain. Trapped in a very awkward position here, walking into the smoke and being put into an early grave. JCMX should be the last one to go down, but he's not going down without a bang. Sprints up towards the site, baits them out 4 seconds. He would have to plant now if he wanted to commit to it. Tries to get the eliminations instead, but Surreal will trade it back.
So thankfully for the CT economy, they do win that round out. Obviously, the same instance as it was on 15-12, I believe, where they're forced to go through a smoke at Monster. Not even a flash to actually, you know, cover you. You can't do a Lynchman flash in that smoke. It's quite easy to dodge them. Pensioners take the first round of overtime. 19 is the magic number. So we saw this before, but Smoothie actually did get boosted last time, but he actually just goes for the jump spot. And JCMX, obviously aware that that could be a concern. Just figured I might as well comment. This skin is lovely.
It is.
Smoothie. It's actually really nice. Yeah, it's the new AWP one.
Oh.
Very nice, isn't it?
It actually is a big green gun as well.
Yeah, it is a big green gun. Speaking of big green guns, Shaney, opening kill right there. Onto JCMX.
Ooh.
If you knew the spam perfectly onto the pipe,
Yeah.
there's easy tags right there. So contact out Monster actually is the play. Jacob's not in a position to smoke for his teammate either. Lizard, that's the wrong timing. Unfortunately, he's lost the smoke and they know they're out Monster. But Jacob doesn't care.
Jacob's just giving it. Swings in. Luckily, Lazar will trade it back as they try and gain the short control as well. Lazar teetering on the edge as he sits on the side of the pole. 45 seconds now. They're out through short. He was not prepared. Surreal bites off way more than he can chew at this point. The double nade rolls in towards the site, leaving him on 31 HP. But they still haven't been able to get out. They're timid, Ben. They're trapped in there, and they're taking more and more damage. The offensive utility's being cast out. They ignite the bomb as well. At this point, you've got 35 seconds, and they're trapped in a horrendous 2v2.
The worrying bit is they know the bomb's out Monster, but they're having to commit this to this 2-player push, and ultimately, just as the smoke fades, they charge out, get taken down from both angles. Pensioners taking control of this overtime scenario. I mean, considering they had like a decent buy for some of those rounds leading into, you know, the match point for Reflex, they're proving a lot more on this CT side now.
Well, it's also they're playing way more confident.
Yeah.
And we saw that adaptation as well with Smooger in the later rounds where he actually would be active. He was playing quite timid at first. He wasn't really going for the info plays, trying to really force his hand like we've seen in the past. Even against top-tier teams, he would be willing to do that. Yeah. But when you go to a UK Prem in Manchester, Ben, Reflex, the nerves just hit you.
They do just hit you, to be fair.
Smooger, he went all bloody hell.
Oh, bloody hell. Through the corner as well. I imagine that was through the rail material-wise, but I don't think the rail actually takes any damage off. At least that one doesn't, I think. Very good shot to land though. Mog adding to his tally. He's had a very solid game so far with that AWP. Specifically on the T side as well, right? CT, it wasn't too much of the AWP in his hands.
Yeah. Very high amount of impact frags tied to him though. Definitely a huge percentage of influence in the rounds they have won. Shaney, we've seen this before from this position, trying to wield the deagle to be quite dastardly. He's going to wait, skulking in position. They push up. It's a bit of an awkward spam at first, but JCMX does overthrow him. And this is when the Orgs need to start gunning. All the tags coming through. Surreal. Just spamming wildly. He's going to pay that debt off instantly as well, as Mog has removed him from the equation. And it's all up to Lazza. Once again, the rotation back round from the B site. We've seen this a million times, Ben. We know what happens here.
Let's see it though. He has to force himself into the situation anyway, right? Leading into overtime of the second half. 1v5. Unfortunately, he's lost so much health to that first player, is the thing. Because it's not crazy to think that it's possible.
This actually very well could be. He has got to get the reload off. He's charging out towards the site. There's not too much time, but he does have to kit.
He dinked at 99! What?
The 1 HP!
That was incredibly winnable. And imagine if he didn't take so much damage off the first player.
Yeah. He would have more confidence to go a little bit quicker pace there on the actual exit towards the site as well. It could have been ridiculous.
I mean, that's the org in a nutshell right there. That distance, that's how, that's the distance from 99, just to show. Wow. So the double up comes through. The same AAA long setup coming from Reflex from the get-go here. Those lovely Game Wolf stickers on Mog's AWP, I believe that was, or Emmy's one actually.
Yeah, the MTS game God Wolf.
Yeah. So this first time they're actually going to contact A-Long as well, so they're actually fighting towards party. The 1-for-1 trade, not the greatest of scenarios on the CT side. Especially when Smoothie's just ran all the way up highway.
Walking out on the site.
And he knows they're stacked towards Long as well. There'll be a flash used, doesn't even get him. No,
nothing at all. They're just peeking into the chaos. It's an easy kill. It's going to get picked up. Shaney as well. Removes Emmy. And it is all on Casa. 1 versus 4. He has got time, but in reality, does he want to try and run the risk? He will have cash to rebuy up no matter what. But it looks like he's just going to hold for the exit. Frags Ben. Not feeling it going into this one.
He should really be going for it regardless. I feel like no matter what, you've got to buy.
Yeah.
Like if you want to play out through the entire, the ultimately in overtime, right?
That's a really rough statistic to throw on there. Wow.
Well, it doesn't look like it's going to be turning to 1, does it?
No, there you go. Yeah. Still accurate. Still accurate. Wow. Literally flamed.
So ultimately, you think 16,000, you get 14, 19. Actually, technically, right? Because of that new economy change back in October, do you already have 1 loss counter when you're in overtime as well?
Oh, that is true.
Technically, you would, wouldn't you?
Because of the way it would start, yeah.
Because it's just a MP restart game, right? And just only start when it changes. So that means you'll get 19, 24, 29, which means you'll have about 21,000 to spend. Basically means you should go for every round in overtime, no matter what. Especially when you were 17, 16 down. Like, you've now given them a match point without even them having to force their hand, right? Even 1v4.
And we saw the amount of damage you can actually do. One man and an all can do a lot, so a bit of a weird one. And what was really achieved by just waiting around.
Yeah. Just, well, he got that stat shown.
Yeah. He did get the stat.
So 18 to 16, Smooth is still trying to make the plays happen, or at least trying to, probe something. I'm kind of confused what that smoke is. That was a CT smoke. So Surreal was actually all the way up long there, like right at the end when that kill came through. So they're playing all the way from site. From the T side of things, I feel like I'd be very happy to go that far into the site if that's where you get the contact, right? Because you're potentially getting the plant for free. Oh, here we go. Come on. I've always liked the idea of this Molotov. However, because it's such a big area behind the truck, I don't think you can actually get all of it. So that lands on there, but you can still play right behind it.
Yeah.
Thankfully, that flash completely negated him.
It works nicely. They do trade a kill each. However, the CTs are starting to lock it down. They're finding these executions. Smooya has to flick back around with the AWP. 2 versus 3. He can Molotov bank. They both have a little bit of utility, but Smooya is just being gifted 1v1s, Ben. They're not peeking together. It's dwindling away more and more, now back just into a 2v2. And at this point, Synergy needs to be on form. Smooya Hard scoped in towards the bank, waiting, focusing on the angle. Kassa is just allowed to walk out towards the site, and it's all up to Lazar. Can he finally start to shut down these clutch rounds as the peak comes through? He will get the first. Kassa with the flick up, augs him. And that is going to be the save on the defuse as well. Incredibly tight, but it's 18-17. They're keeping it close. They do not want to go down like this.
It does feel like there was a lapse in communication with that 2v2.
Because it's just the angles were being held as well. There was no comms in what they were doing.
Yeah. So when Smooth was holding that angle towards bank, I thought Lazar would be more towards the SWAT van.
Yeah.
Watching his CT push out. So they've got like a nice X, right? But instead, it was just as Lazar decided to pull a flash out as well. And even that, I think he only had the bank exit as well. So ultimately, yeah, it was a lapse in communication, right? Got to be thinking, which, considering Lazar and Smooth, yeah, I wouldn't. They're both very experienced players. It doesn't. You don't need to have chemistry too much to have basic 2v(x) communications down.
Yeah.
Poor round to lose from that side of things. But Kassa added one to the 1v1 wins.
That is true. That's one stat that's gone up. Add one to the ticker, Luke.
So 18-17, a slow round. Pensioners on the T side, normally they would be much quicker compared to Reflex at the very least. But they're playing it a lot slower, and Reflex, when you compare what some of the A setups were earlier on, they double played bathrooms, they double played playground or party even. Now they're playing double from site. Last round it didn't work out for them because you let them execute onto you. It's quite a big risk, and he blocks that smoke by mistake.
That's also dented him right in the cheek. Oh! The peak from Mog. He gets one, that puts him over to 30. And how much further can he go? The face around from Shaney as he's spamming down, assaults him with the AK. And the hostile takeover has gone well for them. 4 versus 3 on the retake. JCMX getting ignited by the Molotov as well as things start to heat up into this round. Pensioners could be securing themselves a first map here. Surreal headbutting the grenade as it will leave him on 23 HP. Smooya getting tagged up as well. And it looks like they're waiting, teetering on the edge, about to burst in towards the site. Here comes Reflex, ready to retake, and they're doing just that, Ben. Everyone is crumbling away. It's just on JCMX, though. The 1 versus 1, the spam comes out. He's on the bomb, he's trying to get the defuse. Shaney with the spam, connects the deagle shot, and the Pensioners will pick it up, 19-17. It seemed like it was going to slip away from them, but somehow they had the fight left in them. You can see the reaction there. Lazar, what's going on?